The first time Emma saw Ryan, the world seemed to pause. She was sitting in the quiet corner of a small cafe when he walked in. Tall, with messy brown hair and deep eyes that seemed to look straight through her, Ryan sat at the table next to hers. He ordered a coffee, his voice low and warm, carrying a hint of a smile in it. She didn't expect the wave of feelings that hit her, not immediately. There was something about him, something real. As their gazes briefly met, Emma quickly looked away, pretending to be absorbed in her book. But the pull was undeniable. There was an energy between them that couldn't be ignored, and Emma found herself returning day after day to that same cafe, hoping to see him again. And she did. It started with small, shy conversations, then longer talks as the weeks passed. Emma learned Ryan was an artist, quiet and introspective, while she was a writer, driven by her passion for storytelling. The bond they formed grew stronger with each passing day. One afternoon, after a week of just smiles and brief chats, Ryan invited her to dinner.
"I know a place you'll love,"
he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Emma hesitated for a moment, her heart racing, but she agreed, smiling nervously. At dinner, they talked about everything, childhood memories, their hopes and fears. For the first time in a long time, Emma felt truly seen. With Ryan, the world felt more vivid, like every color in the room was sharper and more defined. They fell in love quickly, but it didn't feel rushed. It was the kind of love that grew naturally, as if it was always meant to be. Every moment with him felt like an eternity of happiness. Yet, even in those moments of joy, Emma felt a quiet anxiety, a nagging thought that something could go wrong. She pushed it aside, choosing instead to embrace the love they shared. Then, one evening, as they walked through the park after dinner, Ryan turned to her with a look of sadness in his eyes.
"Emma, I need to tell you something," he began.
Emma stopped walking, her heart suddenly pounding. She reached for his hand. "What is it?" Ryan swallowed hard, his voice barely above a whisper.
"I'm sick. I've been battling cancer for the last few months."
Emma froze, the world around her blurring. It was as if the ground had been ripped out from under her feet. "Ryan," she whispered, her voice shaking. "How long?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at her with a mixture of fear and vulnerability.
"I don't know. Maybe a few months. Maybe longer."
Tears welled in Emma's eyes, but she forced herself to stay strong. "We'll fight this together," she said softly, her voice firm. "I'm not going anywhere." Ryan's face softened, and he nodded. But even in that moment, Emma felt the weight of the unspoken truth hanging between them. Nothing was certain, and time was slipping away. Days turned into weeks, and Emma did everything she could to support Ryan. She researched treatments, made appointments, and held his hand through every hospital visit. They continued to share their hopes for the future, even when they both knew the odds were stacked against them. But as Ryan's condition worsened, the joy they once shared began to fade. He grew weaker, and Emma found herself grappling with a new kind of fear, one that she couldn't escape, no matter how hard she tried. One evening, as she sat by his bedside, Ryan looked at her with a quiet intensity.
"Emma, I need to ask you something,"
he said, his voice hoarse. "Anything," she replied, squeezing his hand.
Promise me that you'll keep living. Promise me you won't let this destroy you.
Ryan said. Tears welled in Emma's eyes as she nodded, unable to speak for a moment. I promise, she whispered. But deep down, Emma knew that this promise wasn't just for Ryan. It was for herself, too. She had to survive this, even if it meant facing a life without him. The days grew harder. Ryan's once vibrant energy faded, replaced by pain and exhaustion. Emma spent long hours at his side, trying to comfort him, trying to bring back the man she had fallen in love with. But there were times when the exhaustion, both physical and emotional, overwhelmed her. She had never felt so helpless in her life. One particularly difficult night, as Ryan slept fitfully, Emma stood by the window, staring out into the night. She could feel the cold wind against the glass, but it didn't compare to the chill that had settled in her heart. She had never felt more alone. But still, she stayed. She stayed because she loved him, and because she knew she had to keep her promise. Even as her own heart shattered, she continued to fight, to support, and to love him, no matter how painful it became. The day Ryan passed away, Emma felt like a part of her was lost forever. He had held on as long as he could, but in the end, the cancer had taken everything from him. As she sat by his side, holding his cold hand, Emma couldn't help but feel a profound sense of emptiness. She had lost the love of her life, the person who had made her feel whole, who had shown her what true love was. But in the midst of her grief, something shifted inside her. She remembered the promise she had made to him, to keep living. Ryan had always been the one to encourage her to follow her dreams, to pursue her writing, and to believe in herself. Now, in the silence of his absence, Emma understood that the best way to honor him was not to fall into despair, but to continue living, to find meaning in her life once again. As the days passed, Emma returned to the things that once brought her joy. She wrote, pouring her grief and love into every word. Slowly, the heaviness in her chest began to lift, though she would never forget the love they had shared. And when she finally published the book she had been working on during those difficult months, it was dedicated to Ryan. The pages of the book carried their story of love, loss, resilience, and the beauty of a connection that could never be broken, even by death. In the end, Emma realized that love wasn't just about the time they had together. It was about the impact they made on each other's lives. Ryan had given her the courage to live fully, to love deeply, and to find strength even in the darkest of times. And though the pain of losing him would never go away, Emma knew that she would always carry him with her, in every word she wrote and every step she took. This story isn't just about the sadness of losing someone. It's about the strength that comes from love, the resilience that grows in the face of loss, and the transformative power of human connection. Emma's journey wasn't easy, and it wasn't perfect. But through the heartache, she discovered something profound, the ability to keep moving forward even when the world feels like it's falling apart. For anyone who has experienced loss, this story offers a message of hope. That even in our darkest moments, love has the power to heal and transform us.